a little bit into the program, but we'll get the majority of the good stuff. So, so we have to do our part. You know, we have to be well hydrated. We have to eat good food. We have to move these bodies and get the rest. And I love how David always talks about lifestyle. And how long do you wear the patches?
12 hours on, 12 hours off is the optimal. And if you end up leaving it on for more than 12 hours, and some people do, just make sure that when you find it, when you remember it's on your body and you take it off, it's off for 12 hours before you put it back on again. Some people, as we said, are a little bit more fragile, and it's okay to start at something less than 12 hours. So, and especially for kids, I'm working with several young people right now, with some very interesting breakthroughs, actually, and we didn't know quite how they were going to handle it. Unfortunately, our kids are in some pretty fragile spaces right now, and it's fantastic that we have an answer. But we started her with the one I'm thinking about with one of our anti-inflammatory technologies called Eon, just for about an hour or two, just to see how she would handle the inflammation resolution technology part of the thing. So X39 is kind of Eon plus, right? Then I had a sense that she could handle the X39, and we put that on her, and she handled it for a couple of hours. I didn't want to push it, so we took it off after 3. And in that case, if you wear it for some reason less than 12, leave it off for however many hours you wore it before you put it back on again.
Great. So, it's for just about everybody, and we want to do our part. I know a lot of people like to notice something. How long do you tell people it's going to take before they notice some of the benefits?
Well, I like, depending on who it is, and most people, once they're excited about it, they want to see it right away. And I like to let people know, this may take a bit. It took you a while to get here, and it's going to take a little while. So, write out your dream board of what you'd like your life to look like a year from now, and we'll work backwards from there, right? I've never had anybody use X39 for 90 days and not feel something. So at least 3 months, right? 3 to 6 months is optimal. You 99% plus are gonna see nice improvement. And many people see it within the first week, and many people even see it within minutes. We do a lot of trade shows and a lot of patching right there on the spot, and folks have to pop open their eyes and say, is this the placebo effect? And I said, well, whatever it is, don't give up on it, right? Keep doing it for a week or 2 or 5 or 20.
Beautiful. So, managing expectations is important, and it's good to be conservative. Like you say, give it 3 months, but you may notice some things earlier. Sometimes people notice it right away. That's why we like to make sure everyone gets a health tracker to do a baseline before you get started, because it'll help you look at things to pay attention to that you might not have thought about. Like, my goodness, my sleep was amazing, and my eyesight and my mobility and all kinds of goodies. So, all right. So are there any contraindications that someone may experience utilizing X39?
No.
Yay. Isn't that wonderful to say? Well, what if someone says, this doesn't feel very good? I put it on and I feel worse. What do you tell them? Good.
What we pointed to before, yeah, and we don't want people to be miserable, of course, but the body does begin speaking in a new, fresh way. And a lot of times, if you've been carrying a lot of chronic inflammation, there's what we call a retracing phenomenon. Almost nobody feels badly the first time. You feel good immediately, you feel good pretty quickly, and then all of a sudden, a little bit in, after the body's got some momentum and a sense of safety, then that's when that retracing phenomenon shows up. And again, you don't want to batter yourself through that and push through it. This is one of the greatest sequela of using this, one of the greatest results of using this, I think, using these technologies and any life well-being technologies and lifestyle improvement technologies, whatever wellness products we're using, and many of us are using a lot. When they when they kick in, we know that the investment was worth it. Yeah. And then I think the best thing to come out of that is a realization that, wow, I really am in the driver's seat here. I really do call the shots here, right? And so we do have protocols. We have elegant, beautiful protocols, and we've got incredibly skilled practitioners. And you don't have to have letters behind your name to be a practitioner. That's not what I'm talking about. Once you start to learn how to deal with self, then you get to deal with people, right? So we've got a huge community. And I say all that just to say, encourage everybody, including myself, rely on community, right? Rely on the people around. But this is the person calling the shots. This is the person responsible. And so that's what awakens, is this sense of personal autonomy, this personal sovereignty and personal autonomy. And if you're feeling uncomfortable, that's a signal, right? Don't run from it and don't run back to your old habits, but notice what happened. Take a pause, take a deep breath, ask yourself, hey, wow, what happened in the last 6 hours? Why would this be showing up now? And that's why it's important to be in communication too. We like to keep real close contact with folks.
Beautiful, beautiful. As they look innocuous, it's a little round Band-Aid the size of a quarter.
Mhm.
Give us, hey, there you go. There it is. That's it. And amazing things happen. Amazing things happen from that. And Gregory explained the technology. So, and for some people, that retracing can be a bit uncomfortable. And the beauty is you can take the patch off temporarily, but do reach out to the person who got it for you and talk to them, and they will guide you through it if there's anything that you're questioning. They're very safe. No one's ever gotten hurt. The company's been around 18 years. Millions and millions of patches have been sold all over the world in over 80 countries. So very exciting. And I heard today that David has 86 published studies. We have access to, I think, 81. Yeah, the newest one I love is for bone and muscle density with one of our new stem cell patches. So let's take it another step further. Is there, how old can a child be to use this product? You said it can be used on children.
Yeah. I haven't heard David say anything about too young, and so I'm making this up, but I would suggest, you certainly, if you certainly don't want a caretaker giving it to the child. Let's put it that way, right? Know your child very well and know the communications that are coming from the child, from the infant, if he can't speak yet. But really, you want to be in communication with the person that's using it, right? Whoever you are and however old they are. But I don't think it would be, there wouldn't be any reason not to use it on a 1 month old. And I can't think of any reason not to use it on a newborn. Sorry?
Monitored.
Yeah.
Yes. Wonderful. Wonderful. So we have something that, I know we have one of our animals that would not be here today if it wasn't for this. And we have another one that's got one of those diagnoses, and he's got a lot of patches on his collar and he's doing great. So how about jumping into some of the questions?
Sure.
Ready? Anything else you want to share?
Since you mentioned the young kids, I know several pregnant women who have been using it, and it's fine, and no contraindications in pregnancy either.
Good to know. Good to know. Okay, let's see here. Let me start with Shirley. I have a bone on bone with both hips and narrowing of the spinal cord. Back and hips hurt. Ice Wave helps. Is there hope for improvement? I've been wearing X39 for a year, but it seems to be getting worse. Symptoms with bladder and bowels, I'm told by specialists that it's because of the SS. What do you suggest?
Okay, yeah, got it. Can it get better? Yes, absolutely. And glad you've had the success so far that you've had. That's probably a retracing phenomena. That's pretty complicated set of issues. So Ice Wave, for those who are new on the call and don't know, that's our pain relief technology. It's a two patch system, and it's almost immediate. And sounds like she got relief from that, which is great. It improves the circulation. And then X39 is a GHK copper peptide upregulator. So it's and that is one of the instigators of the stem cells. And the stem cells have to actually make it to the target tissue to do their work, right? GHK copper peptide, by the way, also upregulates thousands of other genes, other repair genes, right? Now, if you don't have the stuff, right, that needs to get to the target tissue, that will be a slower process. And so when you're, especially if you're in arthritis situations and other collagen situations and connective tissue issues, collagen, you definitely want to take a look at the rest of your life. No sugar, no sugar, no sugar, no sugar, right? So I'll do a 30-second food is medicine barrage here. It's hard, but we got to get the sugar out of our life, period. We got to get the glycemic spikes, certainly out of our kids' lives. We're being slaughtered right now. And you want to put the body back into a place where it's ketogenic, which means you're using fat as a fuel source. X39 helps that a bit. And also we have another patch that we called SP6, which is fantastic for hormone balance. We don't market it that way, and we can't technically say it that way, but so many of these technologies do much more than what you'll see on the website. SP6 might be a really nice addition to that, because that will help mobilize the repair lipids. Now, where do the repair lipids come from? The flip side of no sugar is you got to eat good, high quality fats. Some people still think that's a bad word, but we need a beautiful variety of fats. And one of the things that comes along with a good, nice, wide variety of fats is the DHA component for the omega. And that also is part of all the king's horses, if you will, that put the collagen back together, right? So you got to have the building blocks, you got to have the prebiotic fiber, a wide variety of fiber that you chew and swallow, lots of different kinds of foods, which will allow growing a lot of different kinds of bugs, the bacteria, which are the microbiome, which are the pilot light in your gut, which will turn your metabolism switch on. That turns the body ketogenic. It turns it into repair. And when one of the companies that we worked with for many years, they like to talk about the damage repair seesaw, our chief scientist, and he was one of the guys 15 years ago who got me talking like this. And if I could hear this guy talking right now while I was writing prescriptions, I would have thought he was insane, right? Because this goes against a lot of what the docs are unfortunately still telling us. But yeah, good diet. You want to stay incredibly well hydrated. Just like Robin mentioned the health tracker before, it might be a good idea to work with the person who work with your sponsor, the trusted people around you, with a food journal, a food diary for 30 days or so. And again, just like we were talking about taking a pause when something bad happens and look around and say, what have I been doing for the past 6 hours that I feel like this, right? Or 6 days or years or decades sometimes. And keeping a food journal, writing down not just what you eat and when, and that's enough of a light bulb for us, but how you're feeling along the way. And then
Beautiful.
yeah,
So
stuff shows up.
again, we've got to do our part. And food is poison or food is medicine. And with, conditions that are serious, it's so important, like Dr. Tom says, to really get sugar out and get those good healthy foods in, and lots of good fiber and fats, and do monitor. That's wonderful. Okay, we got a whole bunch more. So let's go on. Thank you. So Jen's wondering if there's anything that would help seizures.
I can't say anything out loud about that. A lot of what I just talked about for the arthritis is similarly true for brain health. And we have a protocol called the HAT protocol, where several of our technologies can actually stabilize the brain. I'm working with a 13-year-old boy right now, and he's had wonderful breakthrough with no further activity. Let's just put it that way. Finally, they slowed down in the first couple of months, and then it's been about 6 months now, and he's doing great. But this is a good bounce point from the previous question too, because one of the other things that you can do with the arthritis is carnosine is also one of the king's horses that's important in getting those nutrients to the target tissues. And now here we are, still in the first year of launching X49, and I love that David calls X49 carnosine on steroids. So 39 and 49 together, right? It's you'll end up being patched up, but yes, there's lots to do. And then back to the seizure thing again. We have an autonomic neural system, autonomic nervous system stabilizer patch called Aeon, AEON, and it's great for nervous conditions. It's great for brain, spinal cord. It's great for peripheral nerve conditions. It's great for, whether that means a neuromuscular issue that you might know people with a disease of neuromuscular. You might know people with what's called wasting disease. I can't use any disease names here, and we can't make claims. Let's state that again. We're never making medical claims, and especially in a situation like that, if the person who's having the episodes should be watched as we enter into these technologies. But
Beautiful.
great success. Yeah.
Yes, wonderful. Thank you. So we have an anonymous attendee that has a story and a question. A friend of mine's son had high monocyte count, and about 2 weeks ago, he's 11 years old. He's also had lymph node swelling, sharp pains on the bottom part of his abdomen. They've done all the scans and tests and still don't know what's wrong. He used X39 and he's feeling better now. No more major pains like before. My question is, should he stop wearing them? And if not, how long should he wear them? He's 11.
If they're working, I certainly would not stop using them. And if the docs, I think one of the worst things in the world is, for a scared patient or parent to leave the doc's office with no answer. And if your doc can't find an answer, find another doc, because that needs to be explained. And it's just take my word for it. It needs to be diagnosed.
Great.
Yeah. So
There,
a lot.
no,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Yeah.
No, you're
No.
on.
I better stop there.
You can keep going. What's recommended for a condition that causes intermittent ulcers orally and generally?
Yeah, again, the skin is a reflection of our gut, right? So they go together. And that's an ectoderm. I promise this won't get complicated, but think of the embryo, right? When the embryo involutes, you've got a tube running through your body. That tube is the stuff that's, quote, inside the tube after you swallow it is still not in your body yet. It's still on the, quote, outside of your body, right? And other tissues and organs in the body are derived from that layer, that ectoderm, which is there's ectoderm, mesoderm, which is the middle, and endoderm. And each part of the embryo becomes a different creature. So when you treat one, you treat all. And again, the gut is the issue, I guarantee. And we do have ways to take the pain away as you're healing, right? So you certainly want to make all the lifestyle changes and dietary changes I was suggesting before. Get the junk out of your diet and stay incredibly well hydrated as you start X39. That's the first order of business. And we do have a wonderful skincare system. And so Alavita is not a bad idea. And Aeon, the anti-inflammatory that I suggested, would not be a bad idea either.
So again, food can be your medicine in healing that microbiome, which I believe from your perspective is kind of at the root of most disease. Is that correct?
If you weren't born with it, it's at the root of all disease.
Okay. Okay, there you go. All right, we're going to take a few more. So we're running a little late as usual. Has anyone had reduction? This is from Kame of benign tumors such as in the pituitary gland.
Yes, and again, we can't say that. But there are wonderful videos of David who actually speaks it in a much more careful way than I can say it. And he's the guy who did it anyway. And I would suggest go to our video library. A person who invited you here can point you that way. Go to our video library and you'll hear him talk about pineal gland. Actually, hear him talk about when he talks about nirvana, he talks about that, and the way he talks about pineal gland is
exciting.
yes.
It's very exciting. Lemuria, she says, if you wear a patch for a brief period of time, like in your example of 3 hours with your patient, and you recommend waiting at least 3 hours before putting the patch back on, would you recommend using the same patch since the patient only wore it for a few hours? Does this patch still have juice?
The patch does still have juice. And in fact, we guarantee it for 12. We say it's 12 hours use. What I do is I'll take this X39 off here. In fact, I'll take it off now because it went on at 6 a.m. Tomorrow morning, I'll put a brand new one on the back of my neck, but I save these and I stack them. And then tomorrow morning, I'll put these in my pocket because they don't actually have to be on the skin to work. Remember, there's nothing transdermal. They work inside the infrared signatures of the body. And if they're anywhere within about 3 inches of the body, they're activated. And they're good for maybe up to 20 hours, he says.
Yeah. And I know I've heard David say that the reason he doesn't want us to reuse the patch after 12 hours is it's airtight. And if you picked up any bacteria and then it goes on the skin, it's a safety measure. So when you take it off and you're going to put it on again, put it in a safe place where it won't get exposure to bacteria. Okay, just a safety. Okay. Severe spinal narrowing in the lower back. When in massive pain, I notice more uncomfortable, intense feelings if I place Ice Wave on, thinking it may be better on the bottom of my feet. What do you think?
Experiment. Yeah.
Great. You want to try different things and see what works. Okay. Thank you. Carola, a question came up on my end since people do testing and it shows that their copper is too high. Is that different from the copper peptide Next 39 and the other patches to the test that they make the copper too high in their bodies? So is elevating copper peptide going to be a danger for people that have too high a copper levels? I believe is the question.
Elevating the copper peptides skill set, right, is not the same thing as elevating copper. So it is possible that there's too much copper and it's worth investigating. Sometimes what's high in the serum is not actually high in the cells themselves. And so, you want to find a practitioner who can speak that language. But copper itself, the patches do not contain copper and they do not create copper out of nothing, which is why it's actually important to have enough copper in our diet. And if you don't have copper, good sources are organ meats, liver, seafood, wheatgrass, chocolate, real nice chocolate, dark chocolate. And you want to find a supplement if it's low. And there are conditions where it's too high. So yes, continue to investigate that. But the patches will not change that condition. In fact, they will help the intracellular delivery of the copper. And that's usually why serum copper is high, is because the cells aren't using it and it's waiting around.
Okay, we're going to take two more. Thank you. Sure. Jonathan wants to know what retracing means. He's never heard that before. And he also is asking, how does this help animals and how would you know if it's helping? I can answer that one, but you go ahead about the retracing, please.
Well, I'll tell a story. I broke my elbow very severely as a teenager, coming into second base, diving, and elbow bent in, right? So I had many surgeries and I'm left-handed, so I had to learn to be right-handed. they did a great job in reconstructing that with pins over the course of several surgeries, but my left arm had never been fully straight. And about a year ago, after wearing the patch for about a year, in my yoga work, in my athletic work, I started to realize my shoulder was aching in a strange way that I was not used to. And all of a sudden, I realized my left elbow was straightening, and which means the athletic impact on my shoulder girdle was different, right? And so I had to undo what the body had done very brilliantly and put together its safety zone, right? We all hold ourselves in certain postures, whether that be physical postures or emotional postures. And to the extent that we have become safe and we've become stuck, right? But we could hear those things in the same way. Retracing means you're going to step back into a place where you might have been a little bit more vulnerable, right? Or the pathology itself was not yet as set, let's put it that way. So retracing is a backwards in timing, which is really what we're up to, right? We're putting the body back into a place where it can regenerate itself like it did when
And
it
it
was.
is cumulative, which is so exciting. I mean, all kinds of things straighten out. You guys have seen my finger that was stuck like this for 20 years, and now I can do that. It's like, it's so fun. Okay, we're going to finish up here. Oh, I'm going to, animals. You want to talk about animals? How
I
do
would
you know
love
if
to
it's
hear you talk about animals. You're the
well,
animal queen.
we just hear story after story after story. And, we have a cat, an elderly cat. The vet says kidney disease. That's what happens to cats. Give him a different diet and whatever. But we put a collar on him and we patched him because he was sleeping 24/7. I mean, and he got really, really skinny. And so we changed his diet and put patches on his collar. And he's a mouser. He's on all our Zooms. We have morning Zooms. Everybody knows him. He's the mascot. And he's noisy as all get out, eating about 5 times a day. Max is back. And we hear, guinea pig and cat and dog and horse and even fish and tortoises. I mean, it's really fun. And they will, you'll know it's working because their behavior has transformed. They get energetic, they run around, they're happy, they're, adapting to normal life again. Well, everyone, wonderful evening, Dr. Tom. We always, always, always love having you and appreciate you, and your heart and your wisdom is such a gift to our community. Thank you. And thank you everyone for joining us. And those of you that are new, if this is your first time or just getting exposed to LifeWave, we invite you to get started. There is no risk. The product does come with a guarantee. And get started. If it's just for yourself, we have a wonderful customer program. And if you're going to be sharing, our brand partner program is a great opportunity to get compensated for when you share. And we need people's voices because a lot of people don't know that this exists, and we can give them hope in ways that they didn't think they had available. And also thank you, Gregory, for the wonderful presentation as always. So I think we're going to be complete for now. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Good night.
Good night.